Yes, indeed. And no, you're not waking up on a wrong day of the week or anything like that. Like, how long have I been asleep? No, we're coming at you on a Monday this week. It's Total Hockey Now, the last one before the NHL goes to an Olympic break that we're all looking forward to, those upcoming Olympics in Milan. That over there at Ant Rivera 86, all the way down there at Fuzzy Chris 91. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. It's going to be a meat and potatoes edition of Total Hockey Now today. Going to go through our fantasy ads of the week. Going to go through, run the board. It's a 10-game Monday. Usually Mondays are a little bit of a lighter night. Tonight, we get a nice 10 games with the schedule cutting off after Thursday. It's all kind of messed up, the rotation. But nonetheless, we got picks for hopefully all of them. We'll see. But fellas, how do we feel? I mean, football's ending on Sunday, so normally it's like, okay, now more time for hockey. But that's it. Like, there's no more time for hockey. And the games that are going to be played over the next few weeks during the Olympics are going to be like 8 a.m. my time to a little bit later in the day for you guys, but still not, prime viewing time.
What better way to start a day than by watching hockey? Like, you're like 8 a.m. there's hockey, and I'm like, that's my dream. That's what I enjoy.
It's not a problem, but like when you're trying to get a kid ready off to school, like I want to be able to watch the game unfettered.
People have kids. Okay, so for people with dogs, you wake up, you make breakfast, and then, I mean, whatever it is, I'm watching it. Whether it's like Switzerland and Slovakia, like I don't care. I'm in. Like this is an exciting period of time. Yes, the NHL goes on hiatus for a couple of weeks, some players. If you're traveling down south, Jamaica and all those places, you might run into a couple of NHL stars who need the time and the rest. But I'm just excited to watch Olympic hockey with NHL players.
Yes, it's been some time since we've had that. So it is nice to get them back. And yes, the time zones are much more friendly than they've been in previous Olympics. The last two Winter Olympics were Far East Asia, so it's just not really conducive to watching anything live unless you're just a night owl in general. But yeah, we will have next Monday. We're going to come at you with new. We'll have a little bit of an altered schedule in February for that. We'll be with you on February 9th, preview of the Olympics. February 12th, we're going to come at you at our usual time, coming out of a Team USA game, I believe. And we'll talk about the events from the day and the previous day, because I believe games kick off the previous day. Back with you the following Thursday for what'll be a semifinals preview. And then we'll do a post-game show live on February 22nd after the gold medal game. We will come at you and we'll talk about that. So we will be here, even though there won't be much hockey to talk about. NHL trade deadline freeze will come up here in a couple of days. So actually tomorrow, I believe. So there you go. So maybe something happens today or tomorrow, but then we'll have the trade deadline when we get back. And then we go back to normal Total Hockey Now on February 26th with our usual, picks, run the board. We'll have a nice slate that night and be normal like that for the rest of the way, except we'll be Sans Ant Rivera 86 for the month of March while he handles some World Baseball Classic coverage. So make sure you check that out. But, fellas, I think let's get right to our fantasy ads of the week here. And I'm going to throw it down the line. Let's start all the way on the right with Christopher here. Who is your fantasy ad of the week?
Listen, this is fantastic timing as well. Fantastic timing, because I know the Silver Fox had put a question in here a few weeks ago, and it was about the Montreal Canadiens' three-headed goalie monster. And, is it Fowler? Is it Dobes? What do we do with Montembeault? The three-headed monster has been slayed, so that's good. And it looks like Jakub Dobes is going to get I would say the majority of the starts, but it looks like a 60-40 split. He is starting his fourth game in a row. So that's not something that Marty St. Louis has done. He has been very vocal. So is the team about making sure that Samuel Montembeault gets his starts. But the kid has done his part here. He's now won 3 in a row. He beat Vegas, Colorado, and a red-hot Buffalo Sabres. Like, if you had the Montreal Canadiens winning 3 games last week, congratulations, because some of us did not. I was one of those. There's a good chance Montembeault maybe gets to start in Winnipeg. You want him to play a little bit. You don't want to go a whole month without playing hockey. but it sounds like Dobej is going to get the bulk of the important starts. And if you're in a league where you need goalie starts and you need, we're just praying for something. Dobej here, 31% owned in Yahoo leagues. That's actually a 6% increase from just 24 hours ago. They're not all going to be easy matchups. And listen, he can run red hot and then ice cold all at the same time. But right now, whoever is in goal for the Montreal Canadiens, that's who I want in my lineup. The Montreal Canadiens win games. They're a very good team on the road as well. They're playing lots better on home ice. The team is healthy-ish, so that's working out as well. This is a good time if you need a goalie to scoop him up if he's there. If you own Montembeault still, this should have been done a while ago. So make sure you go out there, grab him, leave him on your bench for the Olympic break, and then hope he comes back rejuvenated and rested and ready to go.
I like it. And in the leagues where wins matter, where you get sometimes extra points there for victories, or it's heavily weighted towards that, Montreal is going to be getting you wins down the stretch. It's not like you're like having a good goalie suffering on a bad team that maybe hurts your goals against. Well, I mean, with Montreal, sometimes with the way they go over, that might. But bottom line is they got a chance to win most nights. And that's important with a goal. Like, it might maybe it benefits the Montreal goaltending situation to kind of have more of a clear cut 1A and 1B that's really more of a 2. And I think that's what they have to do at this point, because Montembeault hasn't shown anything to like really, rein the crease away from Dobej, and the Fowler experiment didn't exactly go that well. So
listen, win hockey games. It's all that matters. It's all right. They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. That's what's important, winning hockey games.
I'm glad that you picked him, because last week he was in my thought process. And the fact that the reason I didn't pick him, because they weren't sure yet if he was going to be manning the net for most of the games. And now that he is, it's just a perfect segue into bringing him aboard.
All right. So there's a one from the crease. Ant, what do you got? What are you bringing to the table fantasy out of the week?
So originally I was going to do Matthias Ekholm, but Edmonton's only playing 2 games this week, so that kind of doesn't help you out. I am going with Justin Sourdiff from the Washington Capitals. He's only 15% rostered. He's on the second line with Alex Ovechkin, so he could get you points that way. But I'm a big guy on winning categories. He gets shots on goal. He gets face-off wins. He'll get you hits and an occasional block here and there. And if you can take those, get points in those categories and take those 4 categories, that's a big positive, because we know it's hard to get goals. It's hard to get assists and power play points and shorthanded points. But if you can master those other categories, you're in good standing with your team. And if he's just a simple, add at the end of your roster.
Agree with everything there. Completely agree.
Listen, playing next to Ovechkin, the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, can't hurt you. Can't hurt you.
We're going to help you get sometimes a coattail points. And hey, in fantasy, again, they don't ask you how you get them. An assist is an assist. Plus is plus. As much as we don't like that category, how it works.
Also, he's playing 3 games this week. I forgot to mention. Islanders tonight, Flyers on tomorrow, and then Nashville on the 5th. So you get 3 games out of that, because you're going to be heading into this break and you're going to need those points.
Now, the guy I'm going to suggest this week, and he's only owned in 31% of leagues. And yeah, he's only got 2 games, but Tuesday and Wednesday back-to-back, like at Jersey and versus Chicago, some pretty good matchups there. I'm talking about Charlie Coyle. He's listed as the 3rd-line center, but Sean Monahan's banged up, so maybe he slides into that 2nd-line role. Plays on the top power play, plays on the top penalty kill, scores in bunches. Just pulling up his game log right here. Like, he had the hat trick against Chicago with an assist, then a goal and assist, a goal and 2 assists, and a few games and nothing. Then previous goal, 2 goals and assist, goal, few games and nothing. And then he scores in bursts, and he's getting those opportunities. He's heating up. And what I like too is he's center and right wing eligibility. So if you're looking for a little right wing depth there too, there he is. And yeah, he is a little streaky, but with right wing being thin in deeper leagues, you could do worse. And like I said, when he's playing both the top special teams unit on both of them, that helps your value too.
Like, the Rick Bonus experience in Columbus right now is working. And I think it's rejuvenated or at least helped certain players, Charlie Coyle being one of them. It seems to be going well. Like you said, it streaks here and there. Most, there's so many hockey players that run, hot and then cold. As for every reason you just said there too. He's in a good spot, decent amount of ice time. When players are on the ice, things are going to happen, right? That's how you win categories, right? As long as he's on the ice and he's playing and he's getting his opportunities, he can only do more good than harm.
There we go. Charlie Coyle, Tristan Sorda, and Jacob Dobes. There you got three quality ads there to get you in that last week. And you just also be in mind, and I know Yahoo's got it posted in a lot of these leagues, that they're combining this week with the tail end of the return week starting the 25th. So you're actually getting an extra day or two out of hockey out of it. So keep that in mind too, that, the categories are going to be, numbers are going to be bigger this upcoming period, pretty much across the board, whether you're in a points league or a cat league. So it's going to be a long week that starts this week and doesn't end till what? Sunday, March 1st. So yeah, basically a month-long week. Keep that in mind. So now we're going to get to we're going to go to the picks of the night here for a little Monday edition of Total Hockey Now here. And first and foremost here, get the Sabres at the Panthers, 7:00 Eastern time. Goaltending matchup for this one is going to be Alex Lyon versus Sergei Bobrovsky, one of the many 7:00 Eastern puck drops. By the way, I should mention, Tony Rivers wins the week last week, going 6-3. So Chris and I were a game above 500 each. And no problems last week. Just cruises to another. It's what he does.
I told Chris, listen to Tony Totals. Tony Totals has got you.
He was right. What was that game that it just went off the rails?
It was Montreal.
Yes,
Montreal, Colorado.
Yes, yeah. I was like, hey, this should be a low scoring, and then right off the rip, just goals galore. I was like, well, my bad.
Yeah. So looking at the matchup for tonight there, we talked about it's Alex Lyon versus Sergei Bobrovsky. I would lean over in this one if you're looking at a total here for this one. Pulling up DraftKings right now, it's 6.5. Panthers slight home favorites, -115. Buffalo -105. If you're looking for regulation line there, it's Florida +125. Buffalo 150 +155. I would lean over 6.5. That would be my play on that game. But Buffalo's still playing pretty good. Maybe that's starting to come back down to earth a little bit. In Florida, again playing a little bit better lately. But I'm staying away from this one. But lean over.
I will take the Sabres money line here. It's not that Florida isn't good. They're still a little banged up, right? And there's still some holes in that roster. And Sergei Bobrovsky is starting again. He was decent in his last start, but he's still giving up way too many goals. And the Sabres are just like, they were flying against the Canadiens. They pounded 40 shots on goal as a road team. They were just out there. They were like, this team is rock and rolling. So sometimes in hockey, you need a good bounce. You need some block shots. The Canadiens are a top team when it comes to blocking shots. I don't know if we're going to get the same experience with the Panthers tonight. Yes, the Panthers may be the better team on paper, if you want to say, but I don't think they should be favored in this. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres money line straight up. I think this game probably stays close, but Alex Lyon has been good. The Sabres are still rolling. Give me Buffalo.
I'm going to take the over 6.5 here. For most of Florida's games, there's been more goals than not, whether Bobrovsky's in net or he's not, and Buffalo is scoring goals themselves. So I think this will be a nice game to bet the over on.
When you look at the totals for the season there, looking at the Florida Panthers, 16-9 to the over on the road. So that's a nice sign for them there. 31-23 to the over there. Buffalo, when you look at their numbers, it's night and day from the first 2 months of the season versus the last two. So you got to look at those numbers with a grain of salt there. So I lean over 6.5. Ant's taking over 6.5 +110. Chris is taking the Sabres on the money line -105. All right, there we go. We are off and running. Game 2, another 7:00 Eastern puck drop here. The Ottawa Senators versus at the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's going to be Linus Olmark versus Artur Shilovs here. On the money line, if you want to take the Pittsburgh Penguins, you're looking at plus 102. The Ottawa Senators road favorites at minus 122. Look at if you want to go in regulation, Senators plus 135. So are the Pittsburgh Penguins here on the regulation line. I look at this one, and first thing I say is the Pittsburgh money line. If you're going to give me plus money there, and I'll take the over 6.5 as well. When I looked last and got it, it was plus 100 even money. Now it's minus 105.
Did the Ottawa Senators become elite overnight? Like, what did I miss? How are they road favorites tonight? Linus Ullmark was very good at his return. He looked good. He played well. Let's just keep it a stack here. Like, he played the Devils, who had no Jack Hughes and can't score a goal. Not that I want to put your nose in it, Ed, but like that team's offensively does not scare me one bit. The Penguins are rolling. They will steamroll you whatever way they want to do. They have scored. They're on this fantastic winning streak. They have scored 6 goals in 3 of their last 4 games. I'm not saying they're going to come out here and they're going to steamroll the Senators. I'm just saying that you're giving me a Penguins team that is 13-7-7 on home ice, and you're giving me plus money for them? I mean, sign the check. Ain't no way you're going to let me do that.
And listen, I get it. They're thin on the blue line right now. No Letang, no Graves. Brian Rust is out. So, they've got some injuries. But Crosby and Malkin are still in the lineup. So is Carlson. And Sheelovs has actually been playing all right lately, in terms of goaltending. Probably the better of the two between him and Skinner. In terms of the over, Ottawa is 17-9 to the over on the road. Pittsburgh 16-10 to the over at home. Pittsburgh's on a 6-game winning streak here. Ottawa's on a 3-game winning streak, but they've only made it to 4 wins in a row once this season, and I'm not banking that on that happening again tonight. So, yeah, give me I'm riding the Penguins right now.
In the last 8 games for the Penguins, they've scored 6 or more goals in 5 of them. I'm going to take the over here on this game as well.
All right, so I don't know if it's good or bad that we're seeing eye to eye on a Monday here, but see how things go. Now, next up, we got the New York Islanders at the Washington Capitals. Goaltending matchup there is going to be David Riddick versus Clay Stevenson. Logan Thompson out with a concussion. Looking on the money line here, Caps home favorites minus 130. Islanders plus 110. Road dogs total is 6.5 in this one. Regulation line, the Capitals are plus 115. The Islanders are plus 160. Looking at the total, at one point it was 6, and now it's up to 6.5. I like the over in this one. With Riddick versus Stevenson. I don't know how the game goes. But I think we're an over 6.5. I wish I had gotten it at 6, but 6.5. I'll still take that.
I'm gonna go wide left here, wide left, like some kickers in the NFL. I'm gonna take the 60-minute tie here. I don't think Rittich hasn't been as good, right? His road numbers are not as great, but the Islanders in general are a good team. The Capitals as well. They're really good on home ice. They can, they're 15-10-3. It's not bad, but these are 2 teams that don't give up a ton of shots. Their power plays are basically non-existent. The Capitals have gone to overtime in 3 of their last 4 games. I just have this feeling that these 2 teams maybe they battle it out a little bit, right? But I just have this feeling this game is going straight to overtime. I'm not seeing one team come out here and just steamrolling the other. I don't see it. All their matchups have been really, really close, right? The Capitals have won 2 of those 3 previous games. It screams tie to me. And at plus 310, I don't care who wins. Just tie, go to overtime, and then let Ovi clap one or something. That's perfectly fine with me.
Are we going to be as bold as riding Chris and tailing him there with an overtime bet, or are you going to be somewhat sane?
Listen, I'm just saying that it screams overtime here. It's
very possible. It's Islanders Capitals.
It's Monday. It looks like an overtime matchup. Just sometimes you look at a team and you're just like, this game's going to overtime. That's how I feel about this one.
I hope there's bonus hockey in the nation's capital tonight. How are we leaning on this one, Ant?
I don't got a good feel for it, so that's the reason I'm going to stay away from this one.
All right, so we're staying away there. So far, at least one pick from all the games we've talked about. We've got 3 in the books. We've got the Canadians at the Wild. Now, before we do that, we have a question in the chat about the Minnesota Wild. Kyle Craig here. The Wild take their 2 goalies into the playoffs, even though Gus seems to have taken the bulk of the starts. Or do you move one of them to get strength down the middle? And if so, who do you move? That's a good 3-layered question there. Let's with the way
it's a lot of thought for a Monday there, Craig.
A lot of thought for a Monday.
Jesus.
I think you explore. You definitely. If I'm going to put one of them out there, maybe Wallstead, because the return for him is probably going to be a little bit greater. I feel like that you still have that like on the rise potential where if you trust that Gus is the guy and you just need to get him an adequate backup that he can take 65% of the starts, we'll say. Yeah, I think you try and get Wallstead, but
didn't they just sign him to the big deal too this offseason?
I mean, here's the other thing too. Like, I kind of like the idea. If you think if they went out and got Quinn Hughes, they think they can make a run in the playoffs this year, despite the fact that they have a gauntlet known as the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. I'd hate for that to be over because you lose your starting goalie. I think right now you just kind of leave it alone. I wouldn't. I would just leave it. I know you need another center. Maybe you could find a way to get Ryan O'Reilly some way, but yeah, I wouldn't make that move. I would hold on the ball.
Yeah, when you have a 2-headed monster like that, why, especially when it comes down to the playoffs, you never like look at how much the Oilers suffer from not having, 1 or 2 good goalies in net for the time when it comes time for the playoffs. You got 2 good goalies here. I don't know if I would trade them.
I feel like this would be more of an off-season move if they wanted to explore that. 2 reasons. One, you can open up the amount of bidders that will, because if you mention that Jesper Wallstead is out there, he's what, 24? We can guarantee you about 25 teams are lining up and saying, hey, I mean, we'll take a gander here. Goalies take a minute before they hit their prime, right? So Minnesota does need help down the middle. There's no question about that. Minnesota, and I mean, I feel like they were the bunch of Canadians from a few years ago where it's just all about the help you could get down the middle. And it's hard to find those guys. Like, is Joel Eriksson Ek really a top-line center? Probably not. He's probably a second-line center.
For a cup-winning team.
For a cup-winning team. Yeah, something in that range. But like you're not getting a top-line center for Gustafsson. Like, you're just not going to get it. So if you really want to address that top center need, it has to start with Wallstead. And I don't think they're going to do that now. Like, that's not the case. The unfortunate thing is again, the division that they play in, because Colorado down the middle, stacked, right? And then you turn your attention to Dallas down the middle, stacked as well. So that's kind of what sets them back. We've seen Bill Guerin be willing to go out there, right, and make a bold deal, right? I think a couple of stones have to fit. You got to figure out if Quinn Hughes is here to stay or not. Maybe that helps you also obtain your top line center without necessarily having to sacrifice a goalie. But I don't think they go out and move one of their goalies if you're not getting exactly what you need. Not at this point in the season. So I think they roll in there with 2 guys, and then we'll see what they do over the summer. But like, I'm not trading Jesper Wallstead for Ryan O'Reilly. Like, we can figure that out later on. And again, there's not many teams that will trade their top center, but also you cannot find 24-year-old goalies just hanging around on the streets, right? So, yeah, I think they just go in with both.
For the reason you said that, just because it opens up the suitors in the offseason, not just the people that are looking to make a push. And that's not to say we've seen teams that are not heading in that in a playoff direction to make moves for the future if it's available, but it's not the same market. Whereas you can kind of maybe really assess what's open, especially once, like you said, if people said like, "Oh, it's available," all right, let's see. Let's see if we can put together an offer. See what happens. So, yeah, the other thing too with going into the playoffs is because you're playing these Dallases and Colorados early on, it allows you to have a shorter leash. Like, hey, Gustafson looked like he had a bad outing. You know what? And then you see something there that's like, oh, that might turn into 2 or 3. That's fine. You got a guy you can go to. You got to like, all right, we're going to go to Wallstead and just cut that problem off before it becomes a bigger problem. Boston College scoring again in the spot. So there we go. Now, but back to the action on the ice tonight. Speaking of Gustafson, he's going to be getting the start against Jobess. Looking on the money line here, another 7 o'clock Eastern, or this is 7:30, excuse me. The NHL did it. Let's give the NHL some praise for as much as we give them crap that they don't stagger starts. Sometimes they do, and tonight they did a good job staggering.
We will give them no credit to the NHL. This game is on Prime. That's why. Amazon on Prime games are all at 7:30.
We have 8:30s and 9:30 Eastern, so we have that bottom of the hour game, which is nice.
We'll circle back later and maybe give them praise, but no praise for starting this game at 7:30. This is all Amazon, which, by the way, is a fantastic viewing experience. I wish all games were on Amazon Prime, but we're not there yet, I guess.
It looks like the Wild are minus 130 home favorites. Canadians plus 110 road dogs. Total is 6.5 here. When I looked at this one, I leaned at the over. I mean, Montreal is just a true over team. Minnesota also is 33-23 to the over. I know Gustafson's playing better, and so is Dobesh, but there's a lot of firepower on these teams. So, and their last meeting went over. It was far enough away that I'm not going to say my opposite rules in effect. So I go over 6.5 here.
I got 2 for this one. The over is exactly that. Dobesh has been playing well, but he's given up 3 goals in those 4 wins. So Montreal's offense has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. They're cooking. They are one of the best offensive teams on the road. So I expect a lot of back and forth here. I don't think we're going to see this stellar performance out of one goalie kind of thing. So I'll lean on the over there. I'm also going to take the Minnesota Wild money line, not because I trust them, but the last time the Montreal Canadiens won a game in St. Paul was in 2011. That was an 8-3 game where PK Subban scored 3 goals. Okay. That was, I think, his first and only hat trick in the NHL. 2011. We are in 2026. Like,
let me put that in perspective for you. The Jets were a team that went to the playoffs. I'm talking the NFL New York Jets. That's how long ago that was.
Listen, I was young at that time. I was full of life. I could, not sleep and just wake up on a Monday and just kind of wing it, show up to class and kind of just, try to power through on one of those brutal, 8 a.m. Monday classes. But yeah, man, as good as Montreal has been playing, it sounds like an overtime loss. That's just what it is at this point. So I'll take Minnesota 130 is just too good considering the history. So we'll go down that route as well.
All right.
Montreal's becoming like the Oilers for me last season, always taking the over, doing our best to hit on that. Chris is listening to Tony Totals, so I'm going to reward you all with the trifecta. We are all taking the over here. Let's do it. 6.5. Come on.
Did it. Did all 3. Bing, bing, bing. Now let's see. Last week we didn't do so well with the bing, bing, bing. See how tonight, but I like this one. I think a good one. Next up, we got the Blues at the Predators here. Looking at the starting goaltenders for tonight, it's going to be Hofer versus still unconfirmed for the Predators. Maybe see Saros. We'll see how that goes. Looking on the money line here. This is also a 8 o'clock Eastern puck drop. So now we're into that window. Predators minus 142 home favorites. That seems about right to me. Plus 120 road dogs. Total is 5.5. If you want to place the Predators money line in a parlay with something else, I would do that. But otherwise, I'm staying away from it.
I will take the Predators money line. Minus 142 is not high enough. Again, did the Blues become good all of a sudden? No Robert Thomas down the middle. They're a below average offense. They don't score goals. They don't generate shots. They've lost 4 or 5. Like, I get it hasn't been all smooth sailing for the Predators, but in their previous meetings, these have been relatively high scoring games, and the Predators have done most of the scoring. So That's where I'm going. If this game, the longer it goes on tied, the better it is, I think, for the Predators. And if they get out to an early lead, like, good luck, St. Louis. They're not catching up. Joel Hofer has been better, but he cannot score goals. So Predators money line, no thought.
You look at them in regulation plus 110.
Yeah, but the Blues might just hang around a little bit too long, and I don't want them to ruin my Monday, my Monday vibes.
Enough.
Yeah, I'm not touching this game. No, thank you.
I don't.
Smart.
No.
That's why it's
Predators just lost Barry Trotz as well. It's not gonna be a fun night for them.
That's another interesting wrinkle. Yeah, I'm staying away from that one, even though I kind of lean Predators money line, but we shall see. Next up, we got the Sharks at the Blackhawks. We get into the 8:30 Eastern puck drops, and hey, this could be one of those goaltending matchups in future years. We look forward to Askarov versus Spencer Knight. Looking on the money line here for the Chicago Blackhawks are -105 home dogs. Slight road favorites. The Sharks -115. Your total is 6.5 here. Looking for a regulation bet either way. Sharks +140, Chicago +135. For me, this is a gut check moment for the San Jose Sharks. They blew a 3-1 lead on the third period in Edmonton a couple of nights ago. They played a sloppy game against the Calgary Flames. Dustin Wolf loves to beat his hometown Sharks. He's from Gilroy, right down the road from San Jose. Colorado's up next, but I'm not really worrying about a look-ahead game here and a Celebrini versus Bedard matchup. Chicago's lost 5 in a row. This is the first of 3 Sharks Blackhawks this season. So San Jose money line, I got it at -106. I will keep it with that for sure. And yeah, I think San Jose, this is a get right spot. This is a chance to be like, hey, we're not going to let this turn into a slump and have a bad taste in our mouths going into the Olympic break. Here's a chance to get right. Let's do it.
I don't know who's going to win this game because both teams are just pretty bad. The Sharks on the road are just kind of not there yet. There will be goals, though, that'll be scored. Askarov has given up a bunch. There's only so much Spencer Knight can do. He's also experiencing a little bit of a dip here. So over 6.5, there should be no shortage of just young kids going back and forth. I mean, I hope we see a Michigan goal at some point. There's just so much skill on the ice from players that are under the age of 23. So I don't know, man. It's just goals galore.
Yeah, this game makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, you have the goaltending matchup, which should be good because, Askarov should be taking the next step. Knight can do only, like Chris said, it's so much for Chicago, but could also be a high-scoring game. So I'm also going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, I could see that being it lands right on us. I mean, it's 6.5. So, I mean, I could see it landing on 6. I could see it, a 3 final.
Yeah. I have 4-3 running through my head on this one.
There you go. That's 7.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
All right. So you got the over. I got the San Jose money line and staying away. Now we have 2 in the 8:30 window tonight, Eastern. Jets at Stars. Like I said, 8:30 puck drop. We're getting the Connor Hellebuck versus Jake Ottinger matchup here. Looking on the money line here, the Stars are -148 favorites. Winnipeg +124 currently at DraftKings. Total is 5.5 here. I mean, first I'm going to say is the under 5.5. Both of their prior meetings went over, which is surprising, but one of them had Eric Comrie in that. Usually when you think of Dallas, Winnipeg, think of a low-scoring game. I think we get that tonight for the first time in 3 tries. The Jets have also pushed or gone under this total in 5 of the last 6. Dallas is 14-10 to the under when they're at home. And here's another thing that I played this last night, and now it's down to +124, but I got the Jets on the money line at +140. This is a pizza money spot here. I think, Winnipeg's been playing better lately. Ottinger can let some goals up. If time is now for Winnipeg, if you're going to make up any of that ground that you're going to try and make up, got to do it here. It's a hunch play, but I think this is an okay spot to maybe place a little +140 on Winnipeg, which is now down to +124 at DraftKings.
No, don't enjoy this game. Just in general, these goalies are supposed to be good. A battle of the 2 finest U.S. goalies. I can't trust Ottinger because he hasn't been good. And I feel like if I try to trust the Dallas Stars, Connor Hellebuck will pull one out. So yeah, just not interested.
This will be my first under. I'm trying to put it in the ether out there. Like, come on, guys, let's get this under for these. This should be the matchup that it should be under. Like Adam said, their last time that they played each other, it was over. Chris is mentioning how bad Ottinger's in. But there's always that one game. If we learned anything from Little Giants, there's always that one game, and hopefully it's tonight. Let's take the under 5.5.
Wish I had a game tonight myself. There's always that one game. So Ant and I going under, and I'm going to take a stab. I took a stab on the Winnipeg money line last night. See what happens on the road there in Dallas. We got 3 more games to go, and we are now in the 9:00 Eastern. So, and hey, this is probably the game of the night here. We got the Red Wings at the Avalanche. John Gibson versus Mackenzie Blackwood is your goaltending matchup. The Avalanche -192, heavy home favorites to Detroit +160, total 6.5. Looking for a little bit better number for the Avalanche, -135 in regulation. If you think the Red Wings can steal it in regulation on the road, it's +260. Let's start all the way down with Chris. What do you got for tonight?
Listen, a lot of people, the Avalanche have come down to reality, let's say a little bit over the last couple of weeks. They did go into Detroit and play a fantastic hockey game. Fantastic. It, just exactly what you needed to get the ship back, riding and what it is. I don't know who's going to win this one, but the 6.5 total, a lot of people are looking at the over. I'm just going to have a different conversation here. I'm taking the under, and it basically starts with John Gibson here, okay? We know what you're getting out of Mackenzie Blackwood. Hasn't been unicorns and butterflies recently, but John Gibson is a whole different man when he leaves Little Caesars Arena. He morphs into something that is truly exceptional. He is 10-4-0 on the road with a 2.01 goals against average, 935 save percentage, 3 shutouts. That is a distinct difference from his 314 goals against average and 875 save percentage at home. I don't know what's on the plane, but that meal seems to be working. So there is a lot of skill here. And I get I'm going against Nathan MacKinnon, who is just aching to do something and just torment the Wings and just the rest of the league. And I know how good he is at home. Martin Necas is not in the lineup. That's a loss as well. So all this combined, I will take the under. It could get out of hand. I am aware. Could. But I'm definitely taking the under 6.5 here. I can see another kind of a low scoring game, maybe an empty netter, kind of 4-2 something, which again is less than 6.5. So the math is mathing. But I just don't see this as like a barn burner 7-5. Who's scoring that many goals tonight against these two greats?
Adam with the over, Chris with the under. A lot of confusion on my end, so I'm staying away.
I do like the over here. Just and everything you said makes sense, but I think you just sometimes a game's got a feel for an over, and that's where I'm leaning towards. But I'll say this: one thing I did do is I took the Red Wings +1.5 -140. When you look at I think they could keep the game close at least. Looking at road records here, Detroit 14-8 away. They're also against the spread away. They are 16-10. So I think that's like you said. If John Gibson is a good goaltender, I think he could keep it close. So there we go. So I do lean over, but the official play here is Red Wings +1.5 -1.
Even despite, I don't know, man. Maybe I have too much faith in John Gibson on the road. He's gotten lit up on home ice. I get that. I see Craig over here is going he got lit. Yeah, he got lit up Saturday, but he was in Detroit, or he's been terrible. So he got lit up as well. Well, lit up. Let's be kind to him. He gave up 3 goals against the Capitals, and then he gave up 2 to the Kings. It's not terrible. I mean, well, it was pretty bad because he didn't face a ton of work here, and he got the hook after 40 minutes, so he had an extended shower, and then I don't know, man.
Here's the other thing too regarding the total. Colorado is one of the better under teams in the league, but just like Buffalo's numbers, like they're a little diluted, they're a little messed up because they're two different teams. You look at the way Colorado's been playing lately. Like, yeah, okay, so 5-0 over Detroit on Saturday, but 7-3, 5-2. There's a 4-1 there, 7-3, a 2-1 Anaheim, 5-2, 7-3, 4-3. They've been more of an over team lately, so that's why I'm leaning that way with the Red Wings and Avalanche there. So Ant staying away, doesn't want to pick a side in the divorce there with the total for this game. I'm also going to took the Red Wings plus a $1.50 minus 140. 2 games to go. We got the Canucks at the Mammoth. It's going to be Kevin Lankinen versus Karel Vejmelka here. Looking on the money line as I have to refresh. Thank you, DraftKings. That happens to everybody. Let's see here. It is a Mammoth heavy home favorites minus 265. Vancouver plus 215 road dogs. The total is 6.5 here. Looking at this one, I kind of wanted to, I was leaning under 6.5, but then I don't know. I think this might be a tee-off night for Utah, so I can make an argument either way. So I'm staying away.
The Mammoth are going to win, but you can't bet the money line because that is way too much, just way too much juice.
Minus 165 in regulation, so that's also up there too.
Much. That's still too much. I think this game ends up being close. I'll take the under 6.5. Like you're telling, first of all, Utah is not, I would say, elite at scoring goals. They're about middle of the pack, right? Their power play is operating at 14%, 14.8. Sorry, let's round up 15 because they need it. So even against Vancouver's terrible penalty kill, like it's garbage against garbage on that side. So you're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to you. Neither team really dominates in terms of shots, but they're not really heavily penalized teams. So I mean, I get it's Kevin Lankinen, but is Vejmelka getting lit up tonight? Like, I don't think so, and I don't think the Mammoth have it in them to put up like a 6 spot. So, it's an under for me there.
I'm with that. I'm staying away.
It's if you wanted to feel a little frisky, I mean, the Mammoth on the puck line minus a $1.50 at home. I know Vancouver's had a little bit of spunk lately. I mean, maybe that's a way I'd lean there, but again, no play for me for that game. And then lastly, we got a little cross-Canadian clash between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames. Starting goaltender matchup for there is Wolf versus Wolf, so only 1-letter difference between the two goalies tonight. Again, 10 o'clock Eastern puck drop if you're looking for a money line play. Toronto, a little bit of a road favorite there at minus 115. Calgary, a slight home dog, minus 105. Total is 6.5. If it's a cross-Canadian clash, I think we got to start with the Canadian here. What is your play for this game tonight?
Listen, the Toronto Maple Leafs are just an absolute downfall, and I am here for it. Listen, they're bad, and it's not getting better. They needed to pull one out of the hat to win against Vancouver, a team that just doesn't do anything. I mean, they lost in Seattle. They got throttled by Buffalo before that. Like they're so bad. And I get the Flames are not necessarily elite when it comes to scoring goals, right? They're pretty bad at it. But I know and will appreciate this because you follow it, of course. Dustin Wolf on home ice becomes a completely different animal. Again, John Gibson, when he leaves, Dustin Wolf, it's whatever his wife or girlfriend is cooking at home, man. It works because he is 12-7-3, 232 goals against average, 916 save percentage, 2 shutouts. He's so much better on home ice. The team plays better with him as well on home ice. The Flames can generate some chances. They don't score, right? They average 29 shots a game, but they score 2.48 goals. So if anything, this game stays close. That's what it means to me. And when push comes to shove, I want to take the better goalie in this matchup, and that is Wolf. I'm not saying Wall will be terrible, but I'm just saying the Leafs are just an absolute dumpster fire of a franchise right now. And listen, I love it. Another loss today, man. Move closer to the bottom of the Atlantic, right? They're going to share a home with the Titanic soon.
All right, so you got Calgary with you're going to take the money line there, or do you want to go to regulation?
No, we'll take the money line. It could be close. Again, I'm not expecting a barn burner out of these teams. I'm not expecting 6-5. It's not from Calgary's. I don't think they know how to score 6 goals, but they're going to do just enough to win this game. And maybe Wolf needs a strong one, but just enough to win. So again, I can't bet against the goalie who, just morphs into eliteness on home ice.
What do we got from Ant for this game tonight?
I'm taking the over.
All right.
I'll take the over 6.5. I know that Wolf has been good at home, but he was really good against San Jose, and then after he has a really good game, he then gives up 4 goals. He may not give up 4 goals. They may win 4-3, and he may keep, playing well in Calgary. But man, he has hurt me more than he's helped me when I needed it the most. And guess what? That game that he won, I had him bench for Nedeljkovic, so I lose either way.
Can you bench him tonight? He's
the only goalie going for me tonight.
Damn.
Got to take it where you can find it, because who knows what it's going to look like when they come, how teams do their goaltenders when they get back. Because if you didn't send anybody to the Olympics, you're going to want to get both guys some reps. And if you did send a guy to the Olympics, they may be giving them an extra game or 2 off when they get back, just to kind of compensate for rest there. So you got to kind of take advantage of those goalie starts while they're there. Now, I'm staying away from this one, but I've been thinking about it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to give me the Mammoth on the puck line minus. I found that minus 102 at FanDuel. That's what we're going to do there. I think Utah, I think they make a statement tonight. Like we talked about earlier, that they're a team that you got to look out for in the Central, for maybe that wild card spot. The Central top 3 has been decided. Whoever finishes first, second, third, more likely Colorado, and then we'll see who has home ice between Dallas and Minnesota. But yeah, I think Utah's right in that mix. And listen, if you want to be a playoff team, if you want to take that step and put some of that futility behind you, you beat teams like Vancouver at home, and you beat them good. So give me the Mammoth minus 105, minus 102, excuse me, at FanDuel to cover the puck line. Plus, I hadn't taken a puck line bet. I felt kind of weird without having at least one on the card there. So there we go. So if you want, go back and all of our picks are made for tonight's slate. You could go back and watch earlier. We go through each one. We had made at least one pick from all the games tonight. Oh, at least 2 picks from all the games tonight. So we didn't leave you without any. We had a trifecta in one of them. So that one will clearly go the other way. But other than that, we gave you some good stuff there. So no, it's a Monday edition. We're going to get things out of here soon. But what do we got coming up here on the next edition of the Subway to Shea podcast, Mr. Ant Rivera 86?
Sal Licata is coming up this Thursday.
That's right.
Sal Licata from SNY. He'll be on Thursday. I'll probably do a road to spring training show on Sunday. It's going to be a busy week. So got Thursday show, got a Sunday morning show as we are on the road to spring training, pitchers and catchers next week. So that's a big deal. And then we do a big time preview on Monday of the World Baseball Classic. So that content starts next Monday night.
Very nice. Very, very.
Very.
Right, so there you go. So you got your baseball content over there for one. If some people don't, a lot of people like international, like some people like it doesn't do much for them. Now you got something else to keep you occupied while that goes on. Now,
let me ask you this real quick, because the complaints about the World Baseball Classic is that these guys are getting hurt. Like they don't want their players they don't care. They don't want their players to get hurt. It's a little bit different when you go internationally. All the fans love it, right? You got the Far East teams in Japan and Korea. And you got the Caribbean teams. They all love it. Doesn't seem to pick up here. I wonder if that's the same thought process when it comes to hockey. Like when you got you had the 4 nations, you have the Olympics. Did people feel the same way? Because I if my guy gets hurt, I guess he gets hurt. It doesn't matter if it's here, spring training, wherever. It's just it's a different animal.
So earlier today on Rip and Riff, Jared and I talked about that a little bit at Mr. Jared Moore. Go check it out at Rip and Riff. He says as a Devils fan, and he recognizes they're probably not going to the playoffs this year or anything like that. But like Jack Hughes, if he's not well enough to play, shouldn't be playing if he's in the
right.
There's that sentiment, but I think the ultimate thing is when it comes to putting on a sweater that has your country's name or flag on it, it's different. It's not going to represent some conference in some all-star game where you got to do all this media that you don't want to be bothered with. Meanwhile, all your buddies on the team actually have some time off. They're probably sending you pictures of at the lake for the weekend or at the beach for the weekend while you're, yucking it up with people doing silly interviews that it's all part of growing the game, but you'd rather be spending your time elsewhere. Not that you don't appreciate when it's your country. Hey, you know what? Maybe my knee's a little banged up right now. That's fine. Because that chance to come home with a medal around you, a gold medal, you may not, maybe, Jack Hughes, if you tell me in 2030 U.S. Olympic team, sure, he's going to be there. But what if his injury problems doesn't go away? Maybe he's not. So for somebody like him, he's got to go because they not get a second chance. Macklin Celebrini's probably going to be back for Team Canada before then. He's not. Very unlikely, but got to go when you get the chance.
Listen, the NHL was not part of the Olympics for so long, and I feel like that robbed Steven Stamkos of the prime years of what he could that he could have been part of those great run teams, right? So I will say this. I will also say this, man. Baseball players are the softest players on the face of the earth. These guys take sometimes days off because their legs hurt, okay? They're going to get hurt no matter what, right? Edwin Diaz blew out a knee just walking. It's one of those things where you're going to get hurt, right? You're going to get hurt. And I know it comes down to contracts and insurance, and it's all that fun legal stuff that none of us really care about. But at the end of the day, being on the biggest platform or any platform that brings more eyes to your game is something that owners should want. And it's something that obviously players want. Players will represent their country. They do not care, right? I get that these are owners that say, hey, man, I'm signing the check. And I understand that, right? You don't bite the hand that feeds you. But at the same time, man, if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
And it is what it is. Because listen, Canada, even for that Four Nations, man, there's guys out there throwing their body around. It's not, let's not call it an official tournament. It's kind of like the World Cup of hockey, but it doesn't matter. Guys went out there, threw their body. Look at Matthew Tkachuk and all the injuries after that and where the Florida Panthers are today. I don't think he's trading that experience, right, and saying, oh, I should have stayed home and whatnot, because he was out there yucking it up with his brother and whatnot. So again, players are going to get hurt. It's I feel like that would be the least problem in baseball. It's not a contact sport. Just go up there, strike out, sit down, and move on.
I think the problem more is the fans. I think Major League Baseball fans, they're just so indebted to the Major League side of things. They can't get on board with anything that messes up the regular rules, the old school stuff of baseball, that they can't have any part of this stuff. They don't want their players playing in it. They care more about I root for Team Puerto Rico, and Edwin Diaz got hurt, and it's it either happened here. If it happens in spring training, to me, that's a whole lot worse, because those are just exhibition games.
The one thing I will say, and I agree with what you're saying, is the timing of it stinks because these guys are, let's face it, you can only stay in game shape so well in the offseason. That's hard to, especially in baseball where you're playing 5 to 6 days a week for about 6 months, and then you go to do basically nothing. Yeah. Maybe you go play winter ball somewhere, but it's not the same. Mm-hmm. So to have that tournament right during the period where you're normally getting your body acclimated again increases the likelihood of injuries.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, it's too long of a tournament to replace an all-star game. Plus, like you said, the purists and traditionalists will never get. The problem is, if you're going to do it, you need to do it at the end of the season versus at the beginning. Well played, but then you're competing with the NFL and college football. So it's not ideal timing, but to try and do it when the body's still in shape, it's not going to be great for ratings. There's too much else on the plate.
The NFL's really on Sundays. Are we getting any good Thursday night games? Barely.
Yeah, sometimes we did. We had Seahawks Rams was one of them. There was a couple of good ones. I'll put it to you like this: Thursday night football is not your father's Thursday night football in the sense that Titans Jaguars, whoop-de-doo. Two bottom NFC South teams. No shade at Chris, but that does happen. The matchup. I think Amazon was like, hey, if we're gonna take over this thing, and do it, you're not going to just give up. You're not going to just check off boxes for two teams that don't have any other nationally televised games. If you're going to give us a Cardinals, Titans, then there better be a Seahawks Rams in there too to balance that out. So that has gotten better. But yeah, I just, that's the thing. The best thing to do would be to move it. There's just too many sports going on. There's too much attention. Whereas in March, it's baseball, March Madness, hockey and NBA, but that's really it. Here we go. Now that was a lot off of Subway to Shea. Slapshot Podcast. What do we got coming up?
Just like this show, a new episode is going to be tomorrow on a Tuesday. I know, just living life on a Tuesday. We're going to do some brackets for the Olympics. I have studied the Olympic bracket, and I finally understand how it works because they do have reseeding. And I was like, oh man, all right, I guess we got to learn all of that. So we're going to pick, I think there's 12 teams, so 1 to 12, and then I'm going to pick a winner. And I mean, maybe it's Canada, maybe it's not, but we'll see what happens before Canada wins gold, right? That's basically what you're tuning in for.
I mean, I not to spoil the Olympic preview, I hate to disagree with you, but I find it tough to disagree with Team Canada going all the way, except for the goaltending. That is the way. If they had better goaltending, it would be a lock. That's the only reason it's not a lock, but it's still like. And also, like I mentioned earlier, Rip and Riff for myself and at Mr. Jared Moore, we went through some Super Bowl props today that we both liked for the big game on Sunday. You got to call it that. Can't past a certain point, can't call whatever you got to do. Yeah.
What color was the Gatorade did you pick?
I did not place a novelty in that, but there's so much blue on the field. I feel like blue would be the way to go. That would be, if I had to pick a color. You got both teams. That was the other thing. Like, and I know
Coin toss, Gatorade color. That way it keeps you entertained. If the game in the middle sucks, well, at least you got something to watch to start and end.
There you go. That's the Christopher Moretz method of how to bet the Super Bowl there. I just want a good game. That's all I want. Just give me something. Don't give me like Rams Patriots from a few years ago that was like 13-3 or whatever that garbage game. I just want entertainment. Just give me a good game. That's all I got. That'll do it for this edition of Total Hockey Now. Like I said, we'll be a little off schedule here. We'll be back with you next Monday for Olympic preview, and then the following Thursday after that. So we'll do it twice next week. Back early this week. Back for about a week. But we're at Fuzzy Chris 91 and at Antivair 86. I am at Adam. Talk to you soon. Total Hockey Now for the week.